So first, though, we're going to start with Poll Worker Recruitment Day. I am joined by the chairman of the U.S. Election Assistance Commission, Donald Palmer. Donald, thanks so much for being here with us on Evening Plus to talk all about Poll Worker Recruitment Day. I appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so for anyone who isn't familiar with what today is all about, I mean, the title's pretty self-explanatory, but talk to me about why today, is so important and so pivotal for elections, near and far.
Well, it's really important because this is an opportunity to get the word out that poll workers are needed across the country, in your state, in your locality. And so we don't often have a chance to come together unified in a message on this type of thing as we prepare for this year and then next year. Obviously, we have elections, including federal elections in 2026. And so we're preparing now, and localities are preparing across the country. So this is an opportunity to get the word out. Folks, when folks hear that there is a need, they'll put their hand up and volunteer to be a poll worker.
Absolutely. And I know that specifically here in Michigan, you guys had some great data that only around 11% of poll workers in our state specifically are below the age of 40. So there's really this need for younger poll workers. Can you explain, why that is, why that's a concern right now?
Well, when you have older Americans that are serving as poll workers, many have done it for decades, but eventually they're going to retire. And we saw this during COVID, but for different reasons. It was really hard to recruit poll workers. We really do need the younger Americans to become the new generation of poll workers across Michigan. And one of the things we found is in the data in the survey results provided to the Election Assistance Commission, and then we provide a report to Congress, is that every county, every jurisdiction in Michigan reported it was somewhat difficult to recruit poll workers. And so we're just trying to do our part to help states and localities across America just to raise the awareness. And we're confident when Americans and citizens of Michigan hear this, that they'll respond and get trained up for the next elections that will be coming up.
Yeah, really preparing now for elections, in the near future, but really the further future than that, too, when some of our older poll workers, are no longer doing the job. As far as what it looks like to actually be a poll worker, if someone's not familiar with what the day entails and looks like and the responsibilities, can you give us kind of a brief overview of just what the task at hand is?
Well, yeah. So you're going to be a poll worker. Your election office will train you on the duties for your responsibilities within a polling place. You're going to be with a bunch of other people, other citizens that will be there for their particular mission. You're going to help voters. They're going to come in. They'll need to be checked in. They'll need to have their ballot provided. There are maybe voters with a disability, for example, or other voters that are having an issue. You're there to help them facilitate that right to vote. And it really is rewarding at the end of the day because you've been able to help your community vote in an election and help those that might need a little additional assistance.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know this was kind of my next question, and you sort of answered it there. I'm sure for many folks, this is really a rewarding job, especially right now where there's a lot of differing opinions as far as how our democracy is being run, concern about disinformation, misinformation. This is an opportunity for someone to directly play a role in making sure that things are by the book and accurate and, really just ensuring that our election process runs smoothly.
Well, there's nothing better than serving in a polling place. Not only is it rewarding, as you mentioned, but look, you get to see it on the ground, how it actually works, the checks and balances, the chain of custody. And look, having an informed decision, we all walk away from elections, even I, there's always ways to improve. But being a part of the process, you get to see what is working and how to make that process work for all Americans. And then if you have suggestions, there's a chain of command where it's like, look, this is what I saw. This is how we can improve the process. It's an ever learning process for all of us.
Absolutely. And so for folks who are watching right now and, would like to take your advice and take up this task, what do you best recommend on how to get involved?
Well, helpamericavote.gov is a website we set up, so it makes it really easy for folks that are listening that might hear this. And then you can go find your locality, your election office, and then sign up. Somebody will reach out to you. Or if you know your local election office, or sometimes at the state level, they'll have a place where you can put in your information to volunteer to be a poll worker. Somebody will reach out to you, and then you can get trained and get ready to serve as a poll worker in your community. But that's helpamericavote.gov. That's one easy way for Americans and including citizens of Michigan to get signed up to be a poll worker.
Absolutely. I so appreciate you walking us through this process and everything that's involved. Is there anything we haven't talked about or anything else that you would like our viewers just to know about this process and, this day of awareness?
Well, it's really, again, it's a way to serve your community. It's so important to, register to vote and to vote. This is one more step that would help your community be able to participate in a process. We can't do elections without poll workers. They truly are the backbone of an election. They're the ones, the citizens of your community that are opening the doors. Otherwise, we couldn't actually do this. We couldn't do voting in your polling place. And so, once again, I encourage you to volunteer and be a part of the process.
Awesome. All right, Donald, thank you so much for your time tonight. We appreciate your insight and the explanation of resources, and hopefully we can at least recruit a couple of people who may have been watching tonight for the next election that we'll have here in our local West Michigan area. We appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for having me.